right?
Well,
or that was the foxhole one.
That was the foxhole
Yeah.
one.
All right.
I was going to say, I'm not seeing you on the live feed there, Tom.
You're not seeing me on a live feed.
Not from your,
Yeah, not on Zoom.
not on Zoom anyway.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, unless
Let's
you don't
just
want
see
us
if I
to
can
see
fix
you.
that. Did I fix
There
that?
you go.
All right. All right. I'm so sorry. Hey, guys, it's been a rough night. Look at here. We're 12 minutes late. Why does everything break down exactly at showtime? I don't know what's going on. Hey, you're tuned in to Amateur Radio Roundtable. I'm Tom Medlin, W5KUB, and this show's all about ham radio, amateur radio. And if you're listening out there on international shortwave station WBCQ on 7490 kilohertz, we invite you to stick around. You might learn about ham radio. You may be interested. Most all of us started as shortwave listeners. So you're listening to the show on Thursday. The actual show is live on Tuesday nights at 0200 UTC. Or if you're in the United States, that'll be about 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Had a good 40-meter net tonight. We had about 25 or 30 people check in. In fact, I think we've got some new people in the chat room here tonight. If you're new to the show, let us know. Maybe tell me if you got an email from me. I sent an email out today to a few people. And also, we talked a little about it on the net tonight. So let me know if you're new to the show tonight. We're glad to have you. Got a great show tonight. Katie's out. I think Katie's out. She said she may try to join us in the chat room. She couldn't make it, but I think she'll be back with us next week. And we got some of the regular crew here, and let's just go around the room. But first, let me just say this. Hey, if you will, since we moved to the YouTube type branding, for 5 years we didn't brand this show as YouTube because we had it on our own website. So we're on YouTube now. We're trying to brand it on YouTube, and actually we're doing better with it branded on YouTube. So I need you, everybody out there, to hit subscribe right now. Hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. The more likes we get, that ups our numbers, and it helps YouTube advertise our show. So please do that. Let me also invite you to join our Ham Radio Facebook group. It's growing real fast. I looked at the numbers right before the show, and our Facebook group now is over 11,500 hams in our Facebook group. Wow. So, it follows our show. We'd love to have you join that group, and it's just a great ham radio group. Post your pictures of your shack and all that. Katie will pull those pictures, and we'll show them on the show one night. So do that, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. And let's just jump around here and see what we got here real quick. We'll try to get back on schedule as quickly as we can. The first person I see there is Glenn. How you doing, Glenn?
Hey, man, doing real good tonight. And keeps getting colder and colder, so I have to keep finding new things to do. And I got this sent in the mail.
Oh, wow.
The other day. I'm going to be reviewing that for QST here real soon.
Cool. I built several of those. It's a fun little kit to build.
I think this is my third one. I built a BitX40, the version 3 or 4 of this, and now this one.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, great. Let's jump over to Alan. How you doing, Alan? Alan's there. I know Alan's there. Well, Alan, are you here? Can you hear me, Alan?
He doesn't have audio.
Well,
He's muted.
He's
Let's see. Let's see what Alan does there. Let's give him a second. See if he can figure it out. Okay, we'll come back to Alan. I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's ready. So let's see who we got.
Me now?
Yeah, there he is. We
now?
hear you. We hear you, man.
All right. Yeah, I don't know what happened. My microphone decided to stop working. Is it working now?
One of those oscilloscopes must have fell across the line and pulled it out.
I don't know. I just
Man,
kind of a little wiped out from spending the last 2 days doing some shoveling of snow. I've got 18 to 20 inches of snow here.
yeah.
I guess I shouldn't complain too much. My buddy, I got a buddy here in the chat room, Dave, K2LF, who's about an hour and a half north of me, and he got about 32 inches of snow.
Oh
so,
man.
So I can't complain.
I tell you what, that's pretty bad. I know when we get like a quarter inch here, it gets pretty bad, man.
Yeah, but anyway, we're recovering, relaxing, do the show here, and got an interesting little tech tip segment for later on.
Cool. Oh, we're looking forward to it there. Bill Brown, you still here?
yes.
I don't.
And
yeah.
one
There he is.
advantage of winter is I'm cold testing some electronics to see how they perform under
Yeah.
brutal conditions. So I don't have to put my electronic devices into my freezer anymore. I just take it outside onto the porch.
All right.
So I've got something on the.
You know what?
I've got a tracker on the porch right now to see if there's any frequency drift going on at cold temperatures.
I want to tell you something, Bill. It happened last week, and I noticed this week. When I click on your lower thirds, they must be corrupt because it takes your picture off. Anyway,
If I do what now?
it takes your picture off. When I put your lower third on, it takes your picture off, and it takes me to the YouTube channel here. So I don't know. But you're okay. I mean, you're back now. I got you back now. I just can't put your name at the bottom there. If I put your name at the
Oh, I
bottom,
see.
it's just gonna take your picture away. Okay. Well, all right. Well, hey, Bill, we're gonna get ready to launch our next balloon here in maybe a week. I still want to put that little amplifier on there, but man, this is driving me crazy. I don't know why I
We
need
got
it.
several flying around the world right now. 2 schools are flying, one in the southern hemisphere and one in out of New Jersey. They're over Japan yesterday, so
Uh-huh.
they're about on their way. And then a group in California just completed their second lap around the world, WB6TOU, and they just flew over Wyoming today, and they're on their way to a third lap. So Eric, we're sending one towards you.
Yeah.
Well, right now they're the only ones flying anywhere. So how about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Look, let's do this. Let me just tell everybody out there, we're going to give away another HF antenna tonight to somebody. We'll do that after our next segment. So if you need an HF antenna, you're at the right place. And I see we've got several of the previous winners in the chat room here. I guess they're wanting another antenna. I guess if they win 2, we just give them 2. I don't know. But all right. Well, hey, look. All you guys know our next guest, Eric. So I want you guys to help participate in the discussion here. And folks, I'd like to introduce to you Eric Goot, 4Z1UG, and he's in Israel right now. Hey, Eric, how you doing?
I'm great. Tom, thank you very much. Thanks for joining me.
Well,
I'm
you know,
usually up to
I need to tell everybody on the show, you're really looking really sharp and sparkling right now. I talked to you about 5 hours ago on the phone. I had made a mistake. You were supposed to be with us next week. Guys, it's after 4 o'clock in the morning. We're in Israel there, and Eric was nice enough to say, I'll be on tonight. So thank you so much there, Eric. And we want to talk about, we'll talk about a bunch of things. Let's talk about QSO Today, and let's get into the virtual Ham Expo and all that kind of stuff. So first of all, you're kind of an old-time ham like several of us. I got my license in the early 60s, But I heard that you got interested in ham radio because of the garage door opener. Is that true?
I got interested. I got interested in ham radio because like many kids in Southern California in the '60s, I was holding the light for my dad while he was working on a car. So, so the garage was our evening entertainment after dinner, and there was a doctor who had just moved in down the street, and he came down and wanted to borrow a socket set because he was installing a garage door opener. And in those days, nobody had garage door openers.
Yeah.
And of course, holding the light on a brake job was not as interesting as a garage door opener. So I followed him home, and he was building a Heathkit garage door opener. And not only that, but he had it must have been like a '67 Cougar or something with a Tempo 1 in the front seat.
Oh, wow.
And that caught my interest. So that was the beginning of my ham radio story, and that was Gary Park's K6 uniform India Mike at the time, who was my first Elmer.
The Cougar and the Tempo 1 both would be interesting.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. No. So he would operate 40 meters in the car, and so that was my introduction to ham radio. The first time I visited Henry Radio in Anaheim, California, was in those days, and I was licensed then in 1973. After being I think I got my novice in '73, and then from then on I upgraded.
Yeah. So it's an interesting thing. You're the first ham I know that got really interested in ham radio through a garage door opener. You know?
Well, it was the idea of building anything electronic. I had a love of electronics, so while I wasn't interested in cars as much, but when you're young and you want to kind of participate in what's happening in the garage, you hold the light. So I held the light for a lot of years, but that whole electronic thing was something I'd started even before then, when I was much younger, and almost burned the house down, I think, at one point, but was saved by the bell.
I got a story like that too.
I imagine
I've interviewed 338 hams, and I can tell you that half of them have a story like that. So.
I think everybody has a story. I mean, my ham radio story. 16 years old, early 1960s. I had this chassis. It was kind of a high voltage power supply for old timey radio or something like that. And I think we had tile floors in the house. I don't know if I was barefoot or not, but I touched that chassis with both hands. And I can remember that today. Both my hands stuck to it. And I felt a shock. And I was lucky enough that I backed away from it. I came loose from it. And I remember at 16 years old going for a walk that day afterwards. So we all have stories like that, but man.
I built an 807 amplifier with a television transformer as the power supply, 600 volts, and I used Fonstock clips to clip the wires together, which is basically a little metal clip. You put two wires in, and you let go of the clip. So I had this massive ball of wires with clips holding it together. Well, of course, you want to make sure that they don't touch.
Yeah.
But I brushed into that once, and boy, did the sparks fly.
Yeah,
all right.
Mine, I think it was in the mid '70s, and this is before LEDs, where the indicator lights that were in TVs and things were neon bulbs. And I had a couple of neon bulbs, and I didn't know enough about Ohm's law even to know what size resistor you would need to put in series with it. But I knew that you needed one. So I took all the resistors I had and I soldered them all together in series with the bulb, and I took a line cord and with an alligator clip at both ends, and I just started walking my way down the resistors, watching how bright the bulb went. And then I went past the last resistor. So the bulb exploded, I had little melted pieces of glass. I blew the fuse in the house. I had to run down the basement and find the fuse panel and put a new fuse in. So, yeah.
Now, of course, you never tell your parents.
No, I ran down fast enough, put that fuse in, and my mom was like, "Did the power go out?" I was like, "Yeah, it must have gone out."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Mine was a flyback transformer on a color TV.
Yeah.
Bridged it with a screwdriver and found myself on the other end of the room.
Well, I bet you didn't do that again.
No, I haven't touched a television set repair job since.
All right. Wait, let's get back to Eric. Eric, let's talk a minute about QSO Today. You're a well-known, famous podcaster. I mean, how long have you been doing QSO Today?
I think that's so funny for people to think that because I don't. My audience is probably like a quarter of what everyone else's is, but I started in 2014 with the first episode. I wanted to interview my mentors and Elmers, and what I discovered, in all that time is that my mentors and Elmers are the 338 people I've interviewed, including everyone on this panel except you, Tom. So I've learned more about ham radio in the last 6 years than I did in the 44 years previous. So it's really quite it's quite a thing. But all of those are 1-hour interviews. I think I've gotten a little bit better since I started. The audio is probably a little bit better than it was when I started. I was using a telephone operator's headset for my audio when I did the first 100 episodes. So the audio sounds better. The production value is a little bit better. There's still no music because I was told that some people are playing it around the world. I had one of my listeners was up on Mount Kilimanjaro and heard the QSO Today podcast, and I thought, well, that's very interesting. And he says, well, it sounds like the South Africans are broadcasting it. So I wrote them and found out that they were. So I guess you can hear me all around the world, not just on the internet.
We started out with one of the little $3 computer microphones, and Bob Heil, I guess he felt embarrassed with us, and Bob gave us some pro microphones. That was our kind of start to. And then we've added stuff later, but man, it's great what you're doing there, and you're really expanding it, and you're getting the word out about ham radio. And hey, I know you've got the expo coming up. Tell us a little more about the expo, man, and how it works and what it is for the people that that aren't familiar with it.
So the short story was I started the last QSO Today Virtual Ham Expo was last August, and I started because I actually had all of my hotel reservations for 4 days in May and Dayton, where I was supposed to go, and I was about to make the airline reservations because around here it's best to kind of wait until about a month or two before to find the best airline deals to get to America from Israel. So just as I'm doing that, the COVID-19 pandemic starts. I start watching to see whether or not, when I can buy an airline ticket and whether or not I'm actually going to get to Dayton. And when I start seeing everything close up, including then Friedrichshafen was also closed, so I figured, okay, nothing's going to happen. I started thinking, what could I do that, could make up for it? Although it's hard to make up for Dayton or Orlando or these big events. So I decided, well, let's try doing it online. So I started looking at online platforms for conventions. Now, at that time, every convention in the world was canceling, and every online convention platform, and I'd never seen any online convention platforms before, started getting to be so busy that they wouldn't even return your emails or return your phone calls. So actually, I found one that would. I found a friend of mine had just moved here, and I said, would you help me put together this online convention? So that's how it was born, and we had no idea what would happen. We had no idea how many people would come. As it turned out, in August, we had 25,000 reservations. We had 16,000 people that actually came. The platform that we used was, I wanted the look and feel of a real convention. I even put the convention in the Arizona painted desert so that it would, have an American flavor.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. However, what was interesting about it was all the stuff that we learned from, trying to pull off a virtual convention on the internet. And the stuff we learned is that we wanted to have a way to actually feel that there were people there. Now, the only way I knew that there were 16,000 people on the platform was I have a dashboard, so I have a screen up above here, and I can, watch it and see what's happening, on the dashboard. But there was no sense that there was really the average exhibitor booth had at least 4,000 visitors. So if you were in the booth, you didn't feel it because they were using text chat, and nobody figured out the video chat. So the average, let me see, the keynote address had over 9,000 simultaneous watchers. There was no sense of that. So
Wow.
the time since the last expo, we've spent looking at technology. We've done a lot of surveys. We got a lot of surveys back. We have, the people that we surveyed 25,000. We received 6,000 surveys back. We've asked a lot of information. I spent September looking at ways to supplement the platform that we have, so that it would have a more you'd actually have a sense of the people, the number of people that are there. I've incorporated some technology for managing speakers, which I've got almost 80 presentations coming up in March, on March 12th, beginning March 12th at 6 p.m. PST. So there's a lot of things we're doing now. The people that I hired to do the last one, I kept to do this one. And so we've all been busy trying to get everything together. And Bill's got a presentation. I think, Glenn, you don't have a presentation this time because you're a busy guy. You're about to publish another book.
Actually, it's finished, and so if you want one, I could probably slap one together.
Well, you're always welcome, Glenn. So so we have the big names, but we also have some interesting names. AMSAT, for example, has taken an entire track, and I now have a 10 theater multiplex.
Wow.
So I can do 10 simultaneous tracks on the system on Saturday. So AMSAT has 9 presentations, so they have their own theater, and they have a whole lineup. I've got Rex coming and doing a build-a-thon. I have David Kripe doing a build-a-thon. So there's going to be some live building going on one of the tracks. There's enough content to do SDR and CW and Bill Brown. You've got your send an amateur radio balloon around the world. So there's just so much stuff in the theater that there'll be something for everybody. And of course, because it's recorded, then anything that people missed, and most people miss a lot, will have the subsequent period of time, the 30-day on-demand period, to look at all the videos, and then at some point all those videos will migrate up to YouTube, so they'll all be available there. So we've got a whole weekend packed, and we're using a new technology. I'm happy to show my screen if that would be helpful to you, so you can actually see what's going to make what I think is the game changer. Can I share my screen there, Bill?
You can. It should be.
Tom?
It should be shareable, I think.
Okay, so this is...
Yeah.
Tell me if you see it.
All right.
It's starting. That's one of the things I liked about your last time, was being able to watch the presentations afterward, because I missed so much, or they were scheduled at the same time.
I'm still watching them.
Wow.
Okay, so this is so what we've done is the last platform I used was a company called vFairs. We're still using them, and that's the outside lobby with the people walking around, and the inside lobby with the people walking around, and the exhibit hall with the booths. So Flex Radio is our platinum sponsor this time, so they'll have a big booth in the exhibit hall. But what we're doing differently is that when you click to go into the booth to engage with the people in the booth personnel, what you're going to see is this lounge. All of these booths have this lounge, and this lounge is essentially tables. So they're virtual tables. The tables can have up to 8 chairs, and so the lounges, depending upon how each of the booths configures their lounge, will have a different number of tables and a different number of chairs. And when you go and you click on a chair, then you join a video chat, like a video conference, with all the people sitting at the table. So as I tell people, if at Flex Radio's booth, if you go into their booth, and if Gerald K5SDR is sitting at a table, he can label his table so that you know that that's his table, and you can go and you can click on a chair and sit at the table, and have a roundtable conversation with whoever is sitting at the table. So we're very excited about this because this gives you the ability to have this video chat in small groups with people. And then there's a whole on the right side, there's this whole column, and you'll actually be able to see all of the people. You know, we're expecting 20,000 this next time in the column, you know, down below. So you'll see the people who are in the booth, but then outside of our 10 theater multiplex is a large lounge with 50 tables, and you'll be able to find your friend by his call sign or, you know, by his name, send him a message and say, hey, go to table 43 and let's have a conversation. So the hope is that people will find their group and be able to have conversations while they're waiting for the next presentation. And as presentations start, they'll show up as little yellow banners at the bottom of the screen that say that the next presentation has started, and go into the theater. Or if you don't want to go into the theater, you can stay out in the hallway and you can talk around the tables. There's a speed dating, speed networking thing at the top of the screen, so that if you want to meet with random hams for 5-minute conversations, that will also work. So we're very excited by this platform and integrating it with the other platform. And so we also have we've been running software so that once you buy your ticket, then you have a universal passport to be able to go from one platform to the other without having to enter any information again, because we already have that information. Mm-hmm. So you're like free to go. And so we're very excited to see how this all works out.
So, hey, Eric, one of the big things about Hamviction or Hamfest is the food, man. Do you have any food courts there?
Oh, you know what? I actually tried. There's a number of online services where, if you click on it and they know your address, that they'll give you all of the restaurants in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of the company, but I can't get anybody to call me back. And I keep thinking, this would be great, to be able to have like a food cart and then be able to order anything that's in your local neighborhood delivered to your door.
Do a special with
that's not going to
Grubhub or
happen this
something.
time unless I can pull a rabbit out of the hat. I just can't get anybody. These are all California companies. For some reason, nobody in California is answering their phone.
You got to do a special with Grubhub or something.
Grubhub.
Yeah.
I think that might have been one of the companies. But yeah, I thought, well, wouldn't that be fun?
So
I'd
this
actually put a
software,
food cart out in the lobby.
this software, I mean, it looks very complex. I mean, was there already a product that was kind of leveraged for this type thing? Or is this something that was developed totally for this?
No. This is the company. The company that we're using is a company called AirMeet. They're about a year old. They're based out of India. They've opened an American office and they have an American president now. But they've just received a lot of investment. I think we're going to be the largest expo on their platform, at least in the first part of the year. Mm-hmm. I went to a lot of these in order to choose, which technology to use. I actually went to all of these conferences so I could be a participant to see what the user experience was like. And so I've gone to 6 or 7 of the AirMeet conferences or conferences done on this platform, and I like it. I like it from the standpoint that I can meet people that I don't know. I can drop into a chair and see what's happening. It's very visual, so that you can actually see what's going on. I'm told that it works also well with the JAWS screen reader. So if you're blind, you should be able to find your way around as well. So we're kind of excited, and we've played with the technology that we're using, and we hope that it will be as popular with our attendees as it is with us.
One of the questions in the chat room, Eric, are you going to need special software to attend this?
Well, that's the amazing part. It all works on a Chrome browser. It's all using technology called WebRTC. So it's all there. You don't need to download anything. Now, I have to say, I'm going to say this for everybody. If you have poor internet, get an Airbnb in town, because you're going to want to have good internet for this show. If you have a small display, get a big display, because a big display is going to make it more interesting. I think I've got a bunch of 24-inch displays on my desk here. I think it's amazing with a big display. So if you can get a big display, I'm experimenting with a Raspberry Pi to use as a computer, so that I can just running Chromium on the Raspberry Pi to see whether that works. So if your vehicle is a Raspberry Pi and a 24-inch HDMI monitor, that might be the way to do it. I don't know if that works yet, but I'm going to try that to see. But
So they're asking, will it work?
I had one
Will
guy
it work
from
with
a-
the Edge? Will it work with the Edge browser? I guess it'll work with any browser,
Well,
right?
Edge is based on Chrome,
Yeah.
but the recommended browser is Chrome
Okay.
for this. Now Brave browser is also Chrome, but Brave browser has a bunch of content blockers on it, and so it. I think that you're going to find that to be a little bit troublesome. So you want to make sure that you don't have any pop-up blockers, because the WebRTC uses pop-ups.
Well, Dino here says that Expo worked fine on his Mac Safari.
Amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Except what he can do is I've published. I'll put it up somewhere on the website. I have one of these air meat lounges open all the time, 24/7 until the show starts, and I'm looking at it right now. You know, I like to see if people come in and people can come in and try it, and they can see whether or not the browser they're using will work on it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's what it is. I had a guy from a during the last show. He sent me messages. Oh, this isn't working. It's not working. I said, well. Finally, I said, where are you? He says, well, I'm in a campground.
Yeah.
And I said, where? He says, I'm in a campground in Montana. I said, I don't think that, as much as I'd love to have you in the show, maybe you should get us on the replay. So having at least a 10 mega download, on your internet connection would be helpful. So if you're not traveling anywhere, rent an Airbnb in town and with a great internet connection, and take your big screen.
All right. I
I'm
pulled
just
up.
glad you're doing this. This is just the coolest
Yeah.
thing. I haven't been to a ham fest in what now? Year and a half? I think Orlando was the last one I got to go to. And I mean, this is the next best thing for me. I mean, I've got the jitters. I need a ham fest. I need it like yesterday.
Well, we hope
I have to say,
solve a need. We hope to solve a scratch an itch, with this.
And Eric really enjoyed the experience on your first Ham Expo. The fact that you could walk into a building and see all the booths and go into different auditoriums, that was just brilliant. It was really like being there, and I was able to chat with some of my old friends that normally would show up at the Dayton Hamvention, and we had some good contacts there. So I really enjoyed that. So this looks like it's going to be spectacular.
So is this the site that they're going to go to? The go-to.
So what we'll do is we're selling tickets, and at a certain point within the next week or two, we'll start. We apologize to all the ticket holders. They'll start receiving educational emails from us, which will have some videos on how to navigate the platform, how to be ready, what the configuration should be, and they'll receive links in the email to those resources. And then on the day of the expo, we'll have an enter button on the main website if they don't have the link, and then all they have to do is put in the credentials that we send them, and they'll be able to.
So is this where they'll go to get information or register? The QSO Today
That's right.
Ham Expo.
QSO Today, hamexpo.com.
So they can register and get all set
up. And I
up
apologize that people have told me that my website does not look modern. And I'm the webmaster because I'm afraid at the moment that's the best I can do for modern.
Well, I thought
Eric, you were
it was
saying
pretty good.
Selling the tickets, are they actually for sale or this registering?
No. So this time we're selling tickets. The tickets are $10, and What we wanted to do is we had 25,000 registrations last time and 16,000 people come, and I figured that with and we pulled our audience, so in order to decide whether or not we were going to sell a ticket. So we wanted to sell a ticket at a price that would hopefully close that gap between registrations and people that actually came. That if they paid $10, they'd put it on their calendar and they'd actually come.
Yeah.
So it's not significant, but it's significant to us. We're now a full-time organization. We've got 7 people full-time on our staff that are making this go, and then we're doing other events at the same time. I'm doing a Gilbert and Sullivan musical on the platform in next week, as a matter of fact. So the audience will enjoy the tables outside the lounge before the show starts. All of us here in the world, I think, are starving for any kind of entertainment that from the locals. So we're doing a Gilbert and Sullivan HMS Pinafore on the platform. So we're trying to use our resources in a lot of different ways, just to kind of experiment and see what can we do with it, what kind of projects can we support, and it's a way to keep people working during COVID, and allow us to produce the expo twice a year. So we're coming in March, and then we'll be back in August. So we'll be doing March and August. Looks like will be the 2 times a year that we'll do the expo.
Outstanding. One question we got in the chat room there: are we going to be able to make purchases from the vendors there, or do we have to go to their website or whatever?
So that's a very good question. Thanks for asking it. So we've signed a contract with a company called Compunetics, and what we're supplying to free of charge to all of the vendors in the expo is that if you push on the Buy Now button, it opens a web RTC inbound call center. So we are supplying call center seats to anyone that will take orders for people who have expo booths. So if you're Flex Radio, for example, you sell your own equipment, and so their inbound call center seats will go to their employees. If you're one of the exhibitors that sells through distribution through one of the ham radio stores or chains, then we hope that we'll get those stores and chains to give us some bodies to connect to the inbound call center, so that when you push the button, you'll actually talk to a live person who can take your order. That's the plan. We've purchased the technology. It's going to be on the platform. We hope that everyone who has a product to sell will use it so that they can make sales over the weekend. We can bring camels to the water, but we need to make them drink, right? So
Yeah.
Well, I think you've done a good job covering all the bases from last time, and I thought last time was fabulous.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your saying
Well,
that.
I'm sure that you learned some things from the last one, right? You're constantly making improvements.
Well, I think that's the whole idea is that we're constantly. I tell people Walt Disney was my go-to guy as a guy who would do this. I've said this a few times already. In 1965, when they started designing all of the rides that became like the Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion and It's a Small World, these rides at the time were millions of dollars. I think Pirates of the Caribbean might have been $2 to $3 million in 1965 dollars. I don't know what that is today. But the idea was that he would have big sponsors like General Electric for the Carousel of Progress, or he'd have Carnation or someone like this. Big companies actually do the capitalize the rides, and then they would use the gate fee as a way to maintain the operating expense and keep the whole thing going. So, but the idea is by doing it in this way, by making it a business, as a result, you could actually create an amazing user experience. And so, what we're after here is by putting the resources on the expo with full-time employees working the whole year, that every time we can just iterate a little bit better and make it better each time, because we want an amazing user experience. So that's what we're doing, and that's what we hope anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Eric, I have a question about the chat, the web chat room that you were talking about, the virtual meet
Sure.
room. Where is that on your website? I'm on QSO Today, hamexpo.com, and just where
I'll
is
tell you
it?
what I'll do.
Where-
I will put if it's not there, I'll within the next 24 hours, I'll put a link on the menu bar that says to Eric's Air Meat Lounge or something.
Okay, great.
Okay, I sent it out to all of the podcast listeners of the QSO Today podcast this last week, but I'll put up on the and people are welcome to come in and if I'm sitting there, they can talk to me. If I'm not sitting there, I apologize.
okay. Is there any other things that people need to know where to go to find all this? We've given them your URL there. That's going to get them
Right,
started.
so it's QSO Today hamexpo.com, and they can learn all about it, from the website. It's rather lengthy in terms of verbiage, but there's some videos on there that kind of give you a sense of how to get around. And any questions, they can certainly contact me with a contact form, and I'm happy to write back.
All right. So, with you doing all this, how do you have time to do your QSO Today amateur radio podcast?
Oh, that's a good question. I have a feeling that this week might be a rerun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's the podcast itself is 10 hours a week. So I don't sleep as much as I used to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm valuing sleep more now than I did before.
Well, I'm retired, but I'm awful busy doing what just a little bit we do here for this show. So I know what you're going
It's a labor
through.
of love. Every time I think I'm going to stop, every time I get to like 100, 200, 300, I think, maybe I'm going to stop. And then I get a letter from somebody that says, oh, this podcast is so important and this is what happened. And I think, I guess I can't stop. So I keep doing it. And it's a labor of love. I love doing it. I love talking to new hams, old hams about new things. And so it's really been great for me.
Yeah,
You can never stop. Trust me. It's a never-ending thing.
I've considered that myself. Gee, I may have to go back to work just to rest. I don't know, man. So hey, Eric. So Eric, you're a full-time resident of Israel there?
I am. I've been here 20 years.
Okay.
So, and my wife and 2 children are here, and I have 6 grandchildren in Jerusalem, which is about 30 minutes away.
Yeah, and you do hold a U.S. license, I think, out in California?
I do, yeah. I'm WA6IGR, and I've had that call sign since probably the late 70s.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, have you got anything new planned? Any additions? Anything new you're going to be working on here? Or do you think you got enough to
I'd
keep
love
you
to have
busy?
enough time to just go into my shop and work on stuff.
Yeah.
So I have a very nice electronics shop with a lot of fancy, nothing like Alan's shop, but I have some test equipment, and I like test equipment, and I like working on old radios. So I'm hoping to spend some more time doing that. I've decided I have to put on my calendar. That's one of the secrets to success, is you actually have to put the time on your calendar and then guard that time, religiously in order to be able to have time.
And hope that someone doesn't pick the wrong day and mess your calendar up.
That's right.
I tried using a calendar
from social media.
Yeah, I tried using a calendar once, and I just don't have time to use a calendar. Man, I'm so busy. Wow.
Got another question in the chat room here. Apparently, you've piqued some interest with your Gilbert and Sullivan. Do you have a link for where that production is going to be online?
Yeah. So that now for that's going to be run live like at 7:30 our time. So that'll be like noon Eastern time on Thursday the 11th, and they can look it up at Encore Jerusalem, ENCORE Jerusalem, Educational Theater, and it's a rerun of a performance that was done in 2011. However, what we're doing is we're experimenting to see what we can do on the platform and how it engages people. And then, of course, it's interesting. If you're doing anything, if you're doing any musicals that are somewhat modern, even Rodgers and Hammerstein, the way that those are licensed is you can't record them. So now one of the questions that we're asking is whether or not, well, in order to do a production number, can we record the pieces and put them together in the editing room in order to do a one-time performance? So this is kind of an interesting question that the theater industry and licensing is trying to solve, is whether or not you can pre-record pieces in order to put together a number so that they sync, because we haven't mastered syncing over the internet yet, in order to create a production that you don't record because you're only going to do it once. So these are all experiments that we're running, and I hope that that we'll actually be able to pull off a whole musical where we actually can put the production numbers where you've got 40 people on stage, and you're able to put it together, and the licensing people that are still making money from the shows will allow us to do that. So we'll see what happens.
It sounds like
And
fun.
I have a question for you, Eric. Basically, if let's say a small ham fest or even a larger ham fest that's not going to be able to hold any activities this spring or summer, can they take advantage of your organization and platform to create their own virtual ham fest through your efforts? Would you be able?
Absolutely.
Is that something
Yeah,
you could
sure.
easily arrange?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. We the AirMate platform. We've signed a over $100,000 commitment for this platform for the next year and a half. So if anybody wants to use it for a meeting or something like that, or an event or a small ham fest, we would be happy to share it.
Well, that's
That's
great
cool.
to know, because there are some specialty conferences coming up that we could really take advantage of that, and that'd be a lot of fun.
Right. It would help us. We would do some kind of a revenue share. We can certainly talk about it with anybody that wants to do it. But the platform's available. It books for the weekend, and then it's available for the next weekend. So we're now in the conference business, whether we like it or not, and we like it. We're actually enjoying it. So and the tools that we have will be available to anybody else that wants to let us help them put together a conference.
All right. Well, look, we need to move on. I know it's very late there. Are you going to get some more sleep tonight before you?
Yeah, my wife told me that I have to come back to bed. That I'm not supposed
Yeah.
to. I could sit here and work on the conference until
Yeah.
the sun comes up, but then I think I'd be wiped out for the rest of the day. So
Well,
I'll go back to bed.
all right.
I
Well,
have one more comment for you, Eric. I didn't know you were in Los Angeles in the 70s, but I used to hang out at Henry Radio quite a bit. I almost lived there in the 70s. So I went to school in Santa Barbara, and I lived in Sierra Madre, and I spent a lot of time at Henry Radio. So we probably ran into each other back then.
Yeah, that's very possible. I
Mm-hmm.
went to UC Santa Barbara, at the
Oh.
end of the 70s. So
Well, as did I.
how about that?
I was a Santa Barbarian.
No,
We called it UC Surfing Break.
it's a beautiful place. It's one of the most beautiful places on the planet, I think, Santa Barbara.
I was there from 1975 to 1981 in grad school there at UC Surfing Branch, as we like to call it.
Yeah.
I lived in Isla Vista.
This was I think before paging, so but for some reason all the surfers would know when the surf was up and when to get to the when to leave school in order to get to the beach to surf.
I had an engineering professor who, if the surf was up, he would cancel class, and he would come in with his wetsuit on and his surfboard and says, class is canceled, surf's up, and off he'd go.
That's right. Yeah. It was a great place to go to school.
Were you a member of the W6RFU radio club there?
As a matter of fact, I was. I don't know whether you can tell this story, but the W6RFU used to screen pornographic movies for
Yeah.
right
To raise funds, yeah.
fundraisers for the club. And one of my best friends was Steve Bauer, WB6FZU, and Steve's a blind ham. And my job was to sit with Steve and tell him what was going on.
I have stories about Steve, I can tell you. He was a good friend of mine, too.
As well,
We
right.
must have known each other. We called it W6 red flannel underwear was the phonetics during contests and things. But that's what we call our...
Bill, it's very possible that we sat in the same audience trying to believe that people could actually do those things and then trying to explain it to Steve.
No, I was a good friend with Steve, yes. Wow, we were there at the same time. I'm sure we met. I had brown hair, and it's as long as it is now, but it was brown then.
Yeah, but, Bill, you guys were nobodies back then, right? I mean, young kids, didn't know anything. Now
Our
look at
mothers
you.
thought we were somebodies.
Yeah, now look at you, man. Yeah, now look at you. Okay, all right, we need to move on. Hey, Eric, thank you so much for coming in here tonight and talking to us, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me, Tom. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, glad to have you. And there's been a lot of interest in the chat room, and we'll keep putting the word out for you.
Great, thanks so
and
much.
I know it'll be successful. And we're going to have a HamBot give away an antenna in just a few minutes here. Okay, thanks so much, man.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Hey, that was a great segment on the virtual Ham Expo. Man, we're all going to have to attend that. All right, well, look, hey, we need to give away an HF antenna. HamBot, as you know, is with us tonight, and here's HamBot. HamBot, come in here. Come in. There he is.
Looks like he's getting a little bit rusty there.
After HamBot retired, he doesn't work quite as well as he used to. All right, now, so I was just told HamBot's a she. Okay, so here we go, guys. We're going to give away another antenna tonight. Let's give away let's start back around and give away an off-center fed Wyndham antenna kit. And this is a complete kit from LDG. Our friend Dwayne Kincaid is giving away an antenna every week here for about 8 weeks. This antenna is worth about $130 as a kit. It gives you all the parts you need to build this antenna. Let me say this: we need a U.S. address. So if you're out of country and we pick your name, we're not going to be able to ship it to you. So as long as you've got a in United States address where we can get it to you. I think last week Charlie down in Uruguay won, and he's getting it shipped through a forwarder there in Miami. So anyway, here's what I need everybody to do. And I think people already know what to do. You need to say hi or hit a period and hit your enter key. You need to be active in the chat room. Just one time is all it takes. Just we need you to do that to register your name in the chat room, because the chat room only looks at the most recent participants. It only shows about 15 or 20 people in the last few minutes. So everybody just hit an enter, say something in the chat room. That'll get your name in the pot here, in the barrel to pick from. And HamBot's going to pick a name here in a minute. People are really clicking away there. We're going to have a good list of people to choose from. And HamBot again, he's gonna give away this prize. All right.
These antennas have been really popular.
They have, and this is a kit again. This is everything you need to put together this kit. It includes the wire, the balance, everything you need, insulators. So it's a cool kit. People clicking away in the chat room. Boy, that's getting faster and faster here. We got a lot of people here.
Yeah, I saw where there's a new general. I missed his call. It was a 4 call. That he just got his general, and he could really use that HF antenna.
All right. Well, we need to get that to him. One of our winners won it, and he's donating it to his club to give to a new ham. So that's great. Okay, let's see. Okay, just another minute or so here. They're still clicking away on the keyboard here. But this is for the kit. It's an off-center fed Wyndham by LDG, $130 value. It includes 140 feet of number 14/7 wire, a 25 foot of coax, a center insulator, end insulators, the LDG RU 4-to-1 and the LDG RU 1-to-1 choke. So all that is going to be shipped to you if you are the lucky winner tonight. All right, let's see. We're still getting a few people here. Let's give it just 30 more seconds. Hello, Tim, WB8HRO. Hi, Tim, up there, our friend. Boy, look at all the people in here.
Yeah, they come out of the woodwork when you give stuff away.
They do. In fact, I think some people are doing it more than once. But now that's not going to help your odds to get in more than once. So just one time is all you need to do. Is good. Okay. All right, so I think everybody's had a chance now to enter and get in there. So Hambot should be announcing here in just a second who the winner is going to be. You don't have to claim it because by you entering in the chat room, we know you're here, and you're interested in the prize. So we're going to award it. Hambot's going to pick a name. So where's Hambot? I think Hambot is fixing to announce it here. All right. Robert Snyder is the winner of the LDG antenna kit. I guess Robert is in there. I mean, he entered it. So Robert's going to win the antenna. And how did I sit down here without a pencil or a pen? I need to write that name down. Okay. I need Robert, if you will, send me an email. Send me an email to Tom at w5kub.com and give us all your information, like your call and address. All right, Robert Snyder was the winner. Wow, he says, wow, thank you. Okay, congratulations, Robert. You won the off-center fed antenna. Do you need that antenna? Do you need a good off-center fed? Let's see.
Everybody needs an offset.
Hambot.
That's all I got left for room.
Yeah. No, Hambot does not use just the most recent 15 names. That's not true. Somebody said that last week. Hambot picks from the entire list. 116. He picks from the entire list. All right. So let me make a quick announcement, and then we're going to see what Alan's got for us tonight. I know it's going to be interesting. Okay. Hey, so. You're watching or listening to Amateur Radio Roundtable. So it's the show about ham radio, amateur radio. And if you're out there listening on WBCQ on 7490, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email to Tom at w5kub.com and let us know where in the world you are and how you're hearing the station. And if you have internet and you want to join the show live and watch it and be in a chat room with us, you can do that. It's on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 0200 UTC on Wednesdays. And you can find us on YouTube channel W5KUB. So if everybody will, if you haven't done it, please hit the subscribe button. We need you to subscribe. It helps our numbers here. It helps YouTube get the announcement out about our show. Hit the like button. The more likes we get, the better ranking we get, and it shares our little thumbnail on other people's sites, so that helps bring in more people. We're going to be starting a DMR net up real soon. We've got a person to call the net. He's working on some equipment now. We'll continue to have the 40-meter net on Tuesdays, and would like to invite everybody to join our Facebook Ham Radio Facebook group. 11,400 people. No, we got 11,500, I think. And it's called Amateur Radio Roundtable, the name of the show, but that's a pretty long name. If you'll just type in W5KUB on Facebook, it'll take you to it, and we'll approve you as a member and post your shack pictures. Katie will grab those shack pictures, and we'll even show your shack pictures on the show one night live here. All right, I think that's all the announcements I've got right now. Let's jump over to Alan and see what Alan's got for us tonight. Hey, Alan, come on in here.
Alrighty. I'll tell you, I was listening to the story there, Bill and Eric talking about going to school in Santa Barbara. It's a little different than going to college in Newark, New Jersey. I'll tell you that. You don't get breaks to go surfing. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you could go over to the river, couldn't you? I mean.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you want to go anywhere near it, but Newark was an interesting place to go to school. That's for sure. But anyway.
All right.
Yeah. So what I thought we'd talk about. I don't know if anybody participated this weekend, but this weekend was Winter Field Day. So it was just it's not as big a deal as the ARRL Field Day in the summer, but it kind of came up, and Saturday's weather wasn't horrible, so I thought I'd make a little Winter Field Day excursion on my own. And typically with Field Day for me, I do something usually solo. I go to a pretty interesting place, and what I'm going to do, if it's okay, I was going to show a 6-minute video that I did from a summer field day that I did from the same location, but it'll kind of show you my operating position and what I do there, and then we can chat a little bit about what I did after that video's done. We'll chat about what I did that we may be a little bit different for the winter field day that I did on Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go over to share here, and let's see if I can share this video with you. Oh, I don't know if I did a share with sound. Let me stop that and do it again. Be sure I do the share with sound because you'll need that. There we go. Let's do a share with sound. And so let's play this. I might skip a little bit towards the middle of it, but let's see how it goes here. You can see that okay? All right, so let's play this. Hey everyone, it's Amateur Radio Field Day 2018. This is W2AEW. And we thought we'd put a video together to show you how I set up my field day site. Okay, figure a good apropos site for setting up a field day site is this Guglielmo Marconi Memorial Park in Somerset, New Jersey. It was the site of the East Coast transmitting station from one of Marconi's first transatlantic wireless broadcasting stations. So let's go get set up. If you've watched any of my videos, you've probably seen this go bag that I have. This is my field day and field operating amateur radio bag. It has my radio, antennas, battery, and a bunch of other accessories. First thing we got to do is get an antenna up in this tree. The antenna we're putting up is this tri-band end-fed antenna by Par Electronics, and I'm going to use my throw bag and some throwing line to get a line into the tree to tie the antenna to haul it up. Okay, the antenna is successfully hung in the tree. We follow that line all the way up there and got a pretty good hook on that branch up there. We are now all set to go. I've got the Icom 703 set up here with the lithium iron phosphate battery ready to go. Looks like we've got about 7 minutes to spare before the official start of ARRL Field Day 2018. Logbook's ready, antenna's up in the air, and we're good to go.
Echo 1, Lima Delta calling CQ Field Day and standing by.
Whiskey 2, Alpha Echo Whiskey, QRP.
Okay, the Whiskey QRP, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Whiskey 2, Alpha Echo Whiskey, QRP. We are 1 Bravo Battery, Northern New Jersey, NNJ, over.
Okay, Whiskey 2, Alpha Echo Whiskey, QRP. I got 1 Bravo Battery and November, Juliet, QSO
QSL, and I copy your 2 Alpha Maritime. Roger.
Roger. Actually, you're doing real well here. Nice and clear and strong. QSL?
QSL, thank you for that. Good luck.
Good luck.
Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, QRP.
The QRP station, say again?
Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, QRP.
Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey. Okay, very good. Please copy 1 Alpha Quebec Charlie. 1 Alpha Quebec Charlie. Go ahead.
Roger, I copy your 1 Alpha Quebec Charlie. Please copy 1 Bravo Battery, Northern New Jersey, NNJ. Over.
Yes, sir. We got that. Okay, we got it all. Battery, fantastic. Good signal, QRP. 7-3.
All right, 7-3, good luck.
Good luck to you too. Jordan, that's Victor Echo 2 Charlie, United Radio. Whiskey 1 November, Victor Tango.
Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, QRP.
JW2 Alpha Echo Whiskey 2 Alpha Vermont.
Thank you for the 2 Alpha Vermont. Please copy 1 Bravo Battery, Northern New Jersey, NNJ. Over.
Thank you. Whiskey 1 November, Victor Tango. Go ahead, QRP station.
Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, QRP.
The QRP station, Alpha something, again, only.
Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, QRP. That's Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey.
All right, Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, thanks for sticking in there. Please copy my 3 Alpha Mike India, 3 Alpha Mike India, QSL.
QSL, thank you for 3 Alpha Mike India. You are 1 Bravo Battery, 1 Bravo Battery, Northern New Jersey, NNJ, Northern New Jersey. Over.
All right, Northern New Jersey. Thanks for Northern New Jersey. This is Whiskey 8 Lima Radio Charlie. QSS.
Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, QRP. Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, QRP.
Whiskey 2 Alpha Whiskey something QRP.
This is Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, QRP.
There we go. Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey QRP. Please copy 3 Alpha Victor Tango.
Roger, got your 3 Alpha VT. Please copy 1 Bravo Battery, Northern New Jersey, NNJ, Northern New Jersey.
Thank you for the 1 Bravo Northern New Jersey, and the QRP is making it real good up here in Vermont. 7-3 Whiskey 1 Bravo Delta.
7-3, thanks. Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, QRP.
Okay, QRP station, come again.
This is Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, QRP.
Alright, Whiskey 2, stand by 1 second. We're having a log issue. You are 2 Alpha in Vermont with a great signal. Come again, QRP.
Okay, thank you for the 2 Alpha Vermont. This is Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey. We are 1 Bravo Battery, 1 Bravo Battery, Northern New Jersey, NNJ, Northern New Jersey.
Very good. We copy 1B. Can I get your call one more time?
Sure, it's Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey.
Thank you very much. You are 2 Alpha Vermont and QRZ from November 1 Foxtrot Sierra.
Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey, QRP.
Whiskey 2 station, please go ahead.
Is Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey running QRP. We're 1 Bravo Battery, Northern New Jersey, NNJ.
Okay, 1 Bravo, Northern New Jersey from Whiskey 2 Alpha Echo Whiskey. Please copy 5 Alpha Connecticut, over.
I copy your 5 Alpha Connecticut. Great signal into New Jersey. Thanks again.
Hey, you have a great signal for QRP, 73. Good luck.
Well, I hope you enjoy this little taste of Field Day 2018. It's literally one of hundreds or thousands of activities you can get involved with amateur radio. So if you don't have your license, go get one. It's a lot of fun. And thanks again for watching, and we'll see you all again next time. Let me close that. There we go. So yeah, so that was obviously Summer Field Day 2018. But that's the same location that I ran Winter Field Day at. Interesting that the radio is at Icom 703, just running 5 watts. I didn't record any of the CW contacts that event, but I ran about half CW, half single sideband on Saturday, but it was fun. And the park, as I said, the Guglielmo Marconi Park, and you might have noticed it sounded like there was a lot of traffic, like I was surrounded by cars, and quite literally I was. because while this was a transmitting site for the Marconi Wireless Corporation in the early 1900s, it was a pretty big site. There were like 13 towers up with big rhombic antennas all aimed at Europe. And a lot of the wireless messages that went to Europe during World War I were transmitted from that site. But the only thing that remains from that site, quite literally, is a patch of land inside of a jug handle between the intersection of two roads. So quite literally is that little patch of land that's inside a jug handle, and that's the park. So there's a gazebo there, there's a flagpole, there's that big rock with the plaque on it, and a small little parking lot, and that's all that's there. But just kind of a cool historic place to operate from, even though I couldn't tell anybody during field day. That's where I was, but it's just kind of a neat place to be. So I go there because nobody goes there, and I never have to worry about fighting with somebody to get a wire in a tree or something like that, because all the really good places up on the top of the ridges and stuff here are always taken. So it's just a fun place to operate. I did operate, I said, winter field day on Saturday, only for about 2 hours. The only thing I did a little bit differently, and I'm going to share my screen here again, is I did use a different antenna this time. I used this super antenna, MP1 Super Stick, and this is kind of, you can think of it as a manually operated screwdriver antenna. And it was just easier to put up because it was only about 30 degrees, so I didn't want to spend as much, as much time outdoors. I tried to minimize that here. So this is a faster antenna to put up. There's actually a pipe sticking up out of the ground that has like a water spout on it. So that's a good ground location. So I just clamped this antenna to that. So that was kind of my grounded vertical. So that's what I used. Just operated on 40 meters with it. This is a great antenna. You can adjust it and tune it around. And I replaced the whip that it comes with as an MFJ whip. It's about 9 feet long. So it's really pretty efficient, worked pretty well on 40 meters, even though conditions this weekend were kind of horrible. If you're interested in that NFED antenna that I use, it's now being sold by Vibroplex, but it's still the same PAR NFED tri-bander. This is the wire antenna that I used during that video. And there's a bunch of PAR NFED antennas available on Vibroplex site, and they work remarkably well. And I'm always surprised at how well this antenna works, even on 40 meters, where I use it most of the time. So the other thing that I used, I think I might have shown this briefly last week, is for my little backpack that I carry around, things have to kind of stay small, right? I used the battery that was in there. I had the 703. I brought my 817 with me. And then for CW, I used this key. So this is a relatively new key from Vibroplex. They call it the Camelback. And it's a tiny little thing. You can kind of, maybe you can't get the sense of how tiny it is. And what I'll do is,
I'm not seeing
here's a 9-volt battery.
I'm still seeing the antenna, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, that would help if I turn that off, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So let's do that. Here we go.
Yeah.
So there's the key that I use. Let me put it in front of me so you can see it here. Okay. Mm-hmm. And just for scale, there's a 9-volt battery. So that's how big this little key is. The relatively new key from Vibroplex, they call it a Camelback. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you, it's got such a nice action on it. I'm thinking of getting another one to use on my at the shack here, because even though it's tiny, it has a really nice feel to it. So I really enjoyed using that during the field day thing there as well. And let's see if there's anything else. The rig that I used, I said, was the 703. I don't know how many people are familiar with it. It's unfortunately not something that's available anymore unless you buy it used. There's a picture of it here on RigPix, the Icom 703, same exact size as the Icom 706, except that it runs just 10 watts peak. I had it dialed down to 5 watts, so I was legally QRP, if everybody wanted to kind of challenge me on that. So I had it dialed down to 5 watts. The nice thing about the 703 is that, again, I had a 706, so it was easy to learn to use and figure my way through the menus. But the really nice thing is that it built-in tuner. So if you're on the band edge or where the antenna wasn't ideally tuned, you could just hit the button to tune it, and it had the built-in tuner. The 706 doesn't have that, so a real nice rig for that. The other thing that I brought along with me is that key that you see there. That's the American Morse MS2 key, and that was my go-to portable key, but I'll tell you, I like the action on that new Vibroplex so much that I might be sticking with that. In fact, there's the web page for that one from Vibroplex. I literally just got this about a week and a half ago, and I really like it. So it's if you like CW and that type of stuff, it's some fun stuff to play around with. So anyway, that was my weekend activity. It's fun to kind of get out there and set something up portable and just to see what you can do. I didn't make that many contacts. I think I might have made 10 contacts in 2 hours that I was at the park. But part of that was setting up and tearing down, and part of it was just tuning around and listening. So, but it was a lot of fun just to operate QRP and doing that kind of thing.
So how's that little in-fed antenna work for you? Do you have any problems with it, or?
No, the end-fed, like I said, the end-fed works really well. The only reason I didn't set it up was, mainly because it was cold, and it would take me longer to set that up and throw the wire in the tree and pull everything down, where I could set up the vertical in about 3 minutes.
I don't
that's
have
the only
an
reason I
in-fed.
didn't bring it out.
I guess I have an in-fed here, but it's vertical. It's standing straight up. But one of the things I found out when I was experimenting with the in-fed antenna, the half-wave in-fed antenna, was that the counterpoise link was kind of critical for it to work right. And I know a lot of people just screw a coax on there and they count on that to be the counterpoise. That length of that coax affects how well that antenna works.
Yeah,
in a lot of the research I did, companies selling those, they tell you, and I forget now how many feet or how many wavelength or whatever, but what I had to do on mine out here was X number of feet back from that feed point, I did a dirty ballon, just a ugly ballon, a coil, right there at that spot, and man, that fixed it. But when it had the rest of the coax on there, it just didn't function properly. So I didn't know if you had any problem with that or not.
No, well, it's interesting because the PAR end-fed comes with a little pigtail. It's only, it's less than a foot long because an end-fed antenna is a high impedance feed. Right. The counterpoise you want the counterpoise to be high impedance as well to kind of match that. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, the ugly ballon, the coil of the coax will work. Maybe just, a few feet or less even from the feed point of the antenna, and that's what I found worked for me. Yeah. So I've never put the little pigtail on it as the counterpoise, but I've always had really good luck with it. I've used it as a sloper at the beach when I go on vacation. We rent a beach house and I throw it off the second floor deck. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll have a telescoping fiberglass mast that I'll put it on. Other times I'll run down to the dock by the water to use it as a sloper, top fed, bottom fed. I use that as an inverted V, and I've used it as a vertical end fed at a different park where I can get into a tree and pull the thing almost vertically straight up. Other times it's really just been a bit of a sloper, but it's always worked remarkably well for me. So I've had really good luck.
Back in the early 60s when I got my license, I didn't know much about antennas, and I had the ARL handbook, and I know things like the Wyndham probably was mentioned in there and other things. It didn't look quite like it looks today, and antennas like the in-fed and the off-center fed, those antennas weren't really popular or even shown much back in the early 60s. I mean, we had a dipole or something like that, and that was about it, and it limited us to, those bands, and that kind of limited me when I was a novice to have either an 80 meter or maybe a 40 meter dipole up. But boy, nowadays something like an off-center fed that'll work multiple bands is the way to go.
Oh yeah. Like I said, it's anytime I go out portable, I'm operating low power, so this thing is just great for that because the antenna I showed it's limited to 10 or 20 watts maximum anyway. Mm-hmm. While they do sell ones that are full legal limit as well, but. It's just a lot of fun. I unfortunately don't get to do it as often as I'd like, so I did take advantage of it on Saturday, but again, just for a few hours. But it's just to make sure the equipment all still works, and I remember how to use it. I enjoyed doing that.
And thanks for the link to the information on that Camelback key. I may have to get one of those. I'm a big straight key aficionado. I never did get the feel of a keyer, but I can send about 30 words a minute on a straight key.
Oh, wow.
So
It's funny. I have a pair of the chrome, bencher, like BY1 paddles,
Yeah.
and it's got a chrome base on it. And then the straight key that I normally use in my shack is an old JW Bunnell from 1929.
There you go.
And I put those two next to each other, and I put the cow back between them, and it looks like they had a baby. So,
And I have to ask you this, that Marconi site must have been great for RF, and maybe that's why they chose it in the first place, but all the signals you showed in that video were nice and clear, and they heard you beautifully with your 5 watts. That's not the field days I remember.
well, no, 2018, yeah, 2000. Well, thing is, because I was by myself, I didn't have to worry about any kind of intermods or interference from anybody else operating, which is one thing, other than the audible noise of all the cars going around. But 2018 summer field day conditions were extraordinary for operating. So Saturday's conditions weren't quite so good. I was still getting some signals on 40 meters with that vertical antenna at about S9 or some 10 over. But I still had a hard time, making, like I said, in the probably hour and a quarter, hour and a half that I operated, I made, like 6 contacts, field day contacts, and then
into Vermont.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the ones I did on Saturday for winter field day, into Canada, Ohio, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and one into France. So it was fun.
Now you've got me. I need a contest fix. I missed winter field day this year, and
Yeah. Well, I'm not really a contester because this field day for me is an operating exercise. I'm generally not a contester. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
But field day is my thing. I like getting out there and setting up. But but the guys who are the big contesters that are running 30 words a minute in CW, I can't copy that fast. So I had to find the guys that were sending more like 15 to 20, and I could work those guys. So
you need to get you the little Arduino code reader and just hold it up there.
Yeah, I know. I got to train that code reader.
Yeah. Well,
when I was first learning code, the fellow who was talking to my uncle, I'd listen to them and I'd try and copy him, and he would send it about 30 words a minute, and my uncle would send about 20 words a minute. I could copy my uncle, but I could not copy the other fellow in Florida. He always had the daily sched with. And so I was sick for a few days from school, and I spent every waking moment picking up the highest speed CW I could hear to see if I could improve my code speed. And I finally got up to 30 words a minute. And so I got on the air. This guy's sending 30 words a minute, and I'm copying everything beautifully. So I send back to him at 30 words a minute, and he said, QRS, please, because he could dish it out, but he couldn't.
well, I think everybody's that way, man. I mean, I can dish it out too, Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Hey, Alan, I've got one of those super antennas too, or I had one. It fell off the back of the car on the way to Dayton.
Oh no!
But I loved it. I love the way that thing tuned and everything.
Yeah, I use it when we run our club Hamfest. I usually sit behind the club table with my truck there, and I'll bolt it to the bed of the truck and run a QRP station from the tailgate. So for that and field day is the only time it really gets used. But you replace that top whip with that nice 9 or 10 foot whip from MFJ, and man, that thing gets out nice.
That's a good idea. I have one too, and I'll have to try that with the 9-foot whip.
Nice.
All right, hey guys, let's take just a quick break. I need to do something right here. I didn't do it a while ago, and we're running a little late, but we've still got a lot of time left. We'll be right back in just a minute here. Happy 2021 from Icom. Icom's IC705 gives hours of fun and enjoyment working your favorite bands this holiday season. The IC705 is a perfect sidekick for hams that like to enjoy what both the great outdoors and indoors have to offer. It's the perfect QRP companion. Base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers in a portable package. It covers HF 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at just over 2 pounds. Features include a 4.3-inch touchscreen with live band scope. You can get 5 watts with the BP272 and 10 watts with the 13.8 volt DC. It has all modes, single sideband, CW, AM, FM, as well as full D-Star functions. A micro USB connector, Bluetooth, and WLAN. Integrated GPS with antenna and GPS logger. And it supports QRP and QRPP operations. The perfect accessory for the IC705 is a now available optional backpack with a special compartment for your IC705 and room for all the accessories. And there are a lot of accessories such as the QRP portable magnetic antenna, lithium-ion battery pack, compact lapel PTT Bluetooth and earphone, and coming soon is the AH705 antenna tuner. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on Icom radios.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. From QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable and remote, an LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using our lightning-fast, proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated company dedicated to bringing innovative, quality products to the amateur market. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable. Support is only a phone call or email away. We're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
All right, and we are back with everybody. Oh, it's been a fun night tonight. Been some interesting discussions there. Oh, let's see. Boy, hey, I know people are wanting to know the update on the balloon. I'm not ready yet. In fact, we got rain coming in, so we're probably not going to launch for a few days. I still want that little 100 milliwatt amplifier on there. I'm going to get it. Might not get it this one. I don't know. I want to do something different. In fact, I'm thinking about building a bigger balloon. You never know till you try it, right, Bill? We got to build one.
They make solar power. You can make your own solar power balloon. It would be a one-day flight, but there's no lifting involved.
No, I wanted to stay up longer than that. I saw one of those solar balloons that, I saw one of those I guess it's called a solar balloon. It was about 2 feet in diameter and 50 foot long. You're not talking about that one, are you?
Well, the one I'm talking about is called a tetroon. Yeah. But it's, you know those little creamers that they have that are twisted? It's the same kind of procedure to make these balloons. Way to simulate fear. Yeah. And they will take up a ham transmitter to about 50 or 60,000 feet all day long, and then it will come back down at night. Well, but, you get out there in a hot day, and off it goes.
I want to do something different. I'm going to do it, man. I'm going to fly a balloon. Watch. I'm going to fly a balloon at 60,000 feet, Bill. And I want it to stay up more than one day. I mean, I know I can do it in one day, but I want it to stay up a month. Now, here's the deal. I thought about getting one of those 50-foot long ones and putting enough hydrogen just to get lift in it. It would have a lot of room to expand at 50 feet, but I don't know the weight of it. And, of course, it's black. It would heat up.
That is a problem. I've actually, some of my friends experimenting in the solar balloon carrying ham radio, they actually, in the black plastic, will actually melt. Out after it sits there for a while, it'll actually melt holes in it. So what he does is he uses clearer plastic and uses lamp black carbon powder and kind of moves it around so it's uniformly coated inside the balloon. It's pretty messy, but that's the way he's had success. That was Robert Rockty, KC8UCH. He's flown a lot of those from Michigan.
I started to order one of those, Bill, just to play with it. But you know what? I mean, how would this look? 2 foot in diameter, 50 foot long, and it completely fills up, expands with gas. And it's flying at 49,000 feet, and it's a long cylinder. Now, I could tape a couple fins on the back of it, maybe put a little pointer on the front end of it. But if an airplane spotted it, it kind of looked like a missile out there, or a rocket.
What about doing something? I think your number one thing that seems to be bringing you down is moisture. What if you did, or icing? What if you did a balloon inside a balloon to create some kind of a barrier between the inner balloon
Well,
to keep it from getting iced.
I think it'd still come down. It's the weight. But I have thought about a balloon in a balloon just for leakage. You know, if it leaked through one balloon, you know, the other one would still be holding it for a while. So, I don't.
That
I'm going to do
concept
something.
that Glenn just talked about is called the canoballoon,
Yeah.
and you basically pump air into it as ballast, and the balloon comes down, and you pump air out of the internal balloon, and then you go back up.
Yeah.
But it's a way of adjusting your altitude.
Well, we hope the launch here maybe in a week. We're going to have some rain coming in the next few days. It's going to be bad. I'm going to take another stab at the amplifier. I just don't want to put. I've got a MOSFET one over there. It was working great, but when I put it into the tracker, kind of incorporate it all into the tracker, it don't seem to work. Either the power's different, or something's wrong, or I don't know what's going on here. But
Hey, Tom,
yeah,
I have a question.
Yeah.
How many people copied the CW or the slow CW from W5KUB-23? I had some great success with it,
yeah.
hopping around different SDR radios in Europe and Iceland, and I was able to copy it out to 2,000 miles or so using that Argo QRSS program.
I don't know. I had right after we launched it, a Canadian told me he copied the CW, the CW up
And
there.
I had a friend in Poland. He was able to copy the slow
Yeah.
CW when it was down near Africa.
Yeah. So I don't know. Hey, if anybody copied the CWID that's in the chat room, let us know. Be interested to know. But yeah, I mean, I got to break that 45,000 foot barrier. I just gotta. I gotta, and I think I can get one to fly it. I think I can get 60,000. I think I can get 60,000 feet, Bill.
Just need a bigger balloon,
I just need a balloon, and
big one.
well,
And I need a bigger boat.
well, look, the one that you and I are familiar with, that last one that what Lee and Ron launched, it was only about 50% larger than an SBS 13.
I don't know the exact dimensions, but
I think it weighed about
was-
another 50% more, so it probably wasn't much more than 50% bigger. So I think if I can go two times the volume and keep the weight down, I think I can get 60,000. Now the problem is keeping it up there. I mean, I think I could send one up today and hit 60,000, but I want to keep it up there.
Well, that would get you above almost 100% of the storms. That would greatly improve your chances.
So I saw an interesting thing in the Pico balloon thing today. The guy started getting me thinking. You know these emergency blankets that you get, you know, like these NASA blankets that are silver, like aluminum foil, or gold, you know, the real thin, I forget what they call it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Survival.
They're Mylar blankets. They're Mylar
The
blankets.
thing of it is, the success for these silver foil balloons, they're successful because they're multiple layers of plastic and
Right.
polyvinyl alcohol. You know, there's several different layers there, and then they're coated with that aluminum coating. You can actually remove that aluminum coating; it'll actually work better. It's not there for any reason other than to make it look pretty. So that plastic material has to really be a multi-layer plastic, and I don't know much about the space blanket to know how many layers is there and how how permeable it would be to losing helium or hydrogen out of it. You'd have to do a test, and you also have to figure out whether you can heat seal it or not. So
Now I did look into, and I bought me some 100-gallon heavy duty garbage bags. 100 gallons.
But they're-
100 gallons is
they're
pretty big, and I can heat seal them. I can heat seal those things. Now, I don't know how bad the gas will leak through the material. And they were black. Of course, that was not good either. So, but
Well, you'd want to do some tests on a small scale. Make a 3-foot diameter
Yeah.
one, and then just test it with. I would use helium for that
Yeah.
test, but see every day how much lift you've lost on it. That'll give you some fair idea of how well it keeps the gas inside.
well, I inflated one. I inflated one with just air, and got it kind of tight and sealed it off, and left it in my shop out there. And I thought this was doing pretty good. The next day I went out there and it was about half empty, just with air in it. So, obviously,
I mean, these there's been a lot of research for these pico balloons into the type of plastic we're using for the best success, and it just happened that these Qualitex balloons, if you just went to the party balloon store and just got one of those silver foil balloons, they may not work. The Qualitex brand had enough to keep the lifting gas in for a fair amount of time.
yeah.
And this sushi wrap material, the Gunzi Heptax, that stuff is really phenomenal, and it's lightweight. That's what you want: low permeability and lightweight, and that's a hard combination to find. So one thing I will say, this is a great time of year to fly right now. We just had one balloon go around the world twice. It just completed its second lap, WB6TOU-13. It's a 20-meter Whisper balloon, and he launched his balloon, I believe, on the 11th of January. So he's been around. He's been averaging 10 days transit time completely around the world,
Yeah.
even on his second lap around. So he's been around twice in just 21 days. So that's pretty phenomenal.
I thought we were doing really good. 9 days to make a lap, and I was looking forward
that's
to
right up
more and
there.
more, but it didn't make it, man.
But I saw the Seton Hall prep school, KD2VGT -1 and -2. They launched 2 APRS balloons on the SBS 13 balloons. They were last seen in yesterday over Japan, and it only took a week to get there, less than a week, and they averaged 190 miles an hour across Japan. So they're really moving right now.
Yeah, the jet
So
streams
we have
were
one
looking
in the
really
southern
good.
hemisphere.
I thought we were going to get in that jet stream, but then we lost it just right
Yeah.
after we got in the jet stream.
And I've got one flying right now from the University of Alabama, Huntsville, and they're doing a project, and they're sharing their data with NOAA to enhance their wind models. And so it's called the ashballoon.info, and it's K4UAH-4 is the one currently flying, and they're going to launch 5 of them. In the next 2 weeks, they're going to do 3 more. They launched 2. One was my call sign for Whisper, WB8ELK. The other was Bev Teeters, my girlfriend's call sign, WB4ELK. Unfortunately, hers developed a leak and landed in a tree in Macon, Georgia. And so it started coming down over Atlanta.
Yeah.
And it transmitted for several days all over the country on Whisper. You could hear it in California. So I'm thinking it was right on the top of the tree, and the balloon was still pulling the antenna wire up. So it was just getting out phenomenally well. So hopefully we're going to mount a search and rescue effort to go rescue that one. But the other one is now over just north of Libya, and it's doing great. So they're going to do 3 more, and their plan is to keep these going a couple of days apart so that they can look at the different wind patterns. We have a school in Australia, VK3ZWI-3, It got stuck over Pitcairn Island, which Tom Christian, I believe his call was VR6TC. It circled around Pitcairn for about a week. It was stuck in one of those doldrums, and then it just finally zipped across to South America yesterday. So it's back in the South Atlantic. So we have a lot of exciting round the world balloons flying, and you can view all these on tracker.habhub.org. That's Hotel Alpha Bravo, Hotel United Bravo. And that shows all the balloons that are flying currently around the world.
So,
the ham radio balloons.
So if you guys out there on shortwave are listening to us right now, you're probably wondering, what are we talking about? Well, we're some wild and crazy guys. And Bill there talking, he's the most famous wild and crazy guy. We fly in balloons around the world. Small little party-type balloons around the world and tracking them, and some make it and some don't. All right. Hey, Glenn, we don't want to leave you out, Glenn. You got anything you wanted to talk about or anything tonight?
No, not really. I was just curious. Are the ants coming home, or do we need to?
Yeah, the ants were rescued. I don't know if you saw it in the Facebook group or not. They were rescued. I was told it was a controlled landing. It wasn't a crash. It was a controlled landing, and they did make it. They're all okay. I think Louis had a scratch. That's all he got. And let's see. They had to march, I think, 2 days across the desert somewhere. I hadn't got all the details yet, and they were picked up. I've got a picture here where they were rescued again. These guys are really lucky. They get rescued all the time. So let me pull this picture up here. Almost got it.
I bet there's some camels involved here.
Yeah. Here we go. So this time they ran into some friendly forces and they were rescued. Here we go. Let me see if I can expand that a little bit.
There are.
There we go.
Camels were involved.
Yeah, the camels are involved right there. And there's Huey and Dewey right there, right in the middle. They're all circled around them, trying to find out where they came from and everything. But we did get a message back that they're okay. We should have them back in the States in a couple of days. So let's see. Well, let me make it bigger for people to see out there. They probably can't even see what's going on. There we go. So yeah, after a couple of days of marching through the desert there, they did have water. Luckily, they had a couple bottles of water with them when they made that controlled landing. They ran into this group right here, and they have not ever rode a camel before, but I understand that they enjoyed the ride back.
That's all right.
All right. So let's see. We got about 6 minutes till sign off. Some people think the show might be too long. So look, guys, we'll try to finish the show at 9:30 every night, or cut it off about then. But we will continue to talk. So it'll kind of be like the show after the show. The reason we go to 10 o'clock is we have a 2-hour window on shortwave station WBCQ. And we want to fill that 2-hour window so we don't lose it. And that's the reason we're on until 10 o'clock tonight. But we'll try to get most of the roundtable show in by 9:30 every night. And if you guys want to, go get a snack or go to bed or whatever, it's okay. Or you can hang around and we'll listen in to the show after the show. All right. Again, if you hadn't done it, click that subscribe button. We need you to subscribe. We need you to hit the like button. Please. It helps our channel. Let's see. We had pretty good crew tonight. We didn't hit our peak concurrent numbers like we did last week. We were down a little bit, but we've had just under 1,200 people join the show tonight. So that's not too bad, actually.
Not bad at all.
Not bad. I'd like to try to double that number, get the message out to everybody, and we'd like everybody's help here. Alan, you still with us? It's getting late there, man. What else you got going?
Still here. Like I said, just a little wiped from 2 days of doing snow and trying to get work done in between, because I am still among the workforce. So
do you have to go in the office when it snows like that, or are you guys staying home?
No, well, I always work out of a home office. So
okay.
Going to an office is walking about 30 feet. But
yeah.
But, I've got all my equipment set up there, and I do all my virtual and remote demos and trainings and support right from there. But it just means being there in the seat so I don't miss, a phone call or an email or something like that, or a meeting or something. So it's just with all this dealing with snow as it was coming down and trying not to let it pile up too much. I had wound up working till about 8 o'clock tonight. So I wasn't sure. I didn't get an advertisement out on my Twitter channel, for example, for tonight's show.
That's why our numbers are lower. I'm gonna have to let me make a note of that.
Oh, my fault now.
Two demerits.
Here goes the pay cut.
Two demerits.
Two demerits there. I gave somebody in the chat room one demerit. He came into the show late. He got one demerit. I forget who it was, but I've got it documented over here. Hey, let me ask you a question up here, man. When it, down in the South, we're a little different, you guys, but down here, if they say on the news or the weather that, we're going to get snow tomorrow, well, if you don't get to the grocery store, like, immediately, all the bread's gone, all the milk's gone. Does that happen up there?
It depends on the severity of the storm, what they're calling for. My wife and I went shopping on Sunday, which is, they said that the snow was going to start on Sunday, and it did. And we went on Sunday early afternoon, just as the snow was starting, just to pick up a couple of things. And the store was more crowded than usual. They were out of milk, but it wasn't like shelves were cleared out. So I just went to the next store on the way home, and I was able to get milk. So it was, they don't go too nuts here. But I've heard that the most popular thing that gets cleared off the shelf when you get these big storms and things like that is strawberry Pop-Tarts. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've heard.
Now, I will say, when I lived in Peterborough, New Hampshire, when I was working at 73 magazine, we had a 3-foot snowstorm. Mm-hmm. And I opened the front door, and there was an imprint of a front door in the snow. It was completely blocked. I had to crawl out a window to get out. But, within 6 hours, all the roads were plowed. I could go to the store, except that they tend to dump the snow and the ice from the snowplow right after I had shoveled out the driveway for 6 hours. And now I've got 10 foot deep of snow and lots of ice. But that down here, if we get 1 inch of snow, it shuts the whole place down for a day.
3 flakes.
10 inches of snow would shut this place down for 10 days.
We're kind of in between. We're not as good as Vermont and New Hampshire, things like that. But things were pretty much shut down all day yesterday. I mean, it was snowed all day yesterday, and it snowed actually most of the day today too, but not as heavy. But my street, I live on a residential street here, and it's just crusted snow. Probably 4 inches of packed snow on the and rutted all over the place. But the main road that I dump out on is down to the pavement, or is so even though we had 20 inches of snow. So, but so it's better than it is down there. It's just not as good as it is up in New England.
I don't know which clock to look at. I've got 3 clocks with 3 different times, but I think we are signing off on our radio show right now. Thanks everybody out there. Send us an email, tom@w5kub.com. If you're listening on shortwave, and let us know where you are and send us a signal report. See you next week.
All right. So Dino says that the grocery store stocker told him that the biggest seller isn't bread or milk, it's potato chips. So I guess it depends on what part of the country you're in.
Yeah, I was going to say, in Alabama, when I lived there, it was always milk and bread.
Well, Dino here says the grocery store stocker told him it wasn't milk or bread, it was potato chips.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, wow.
So soon as within 6 hours, we had 20-foot walls of snow on either side of the road, and the road was cleared, and you could just drive right on into anywhere you wanted to go. It was like driving down a toboggan run or the luge, it was like an Olympic course, but you could go anywhere.
Wow.
But here, that we don't have snow plows, we don't have
Yeah.
salt. They
Yeah.
dump red dirt on it and hope that that's enough.
I used to always get company training classes in the middle of winter. I spent the blizzard of '78 up in Rockville, Maryland, and
That was a
I
big.
always got Minneapolis in the winter, and for them, 3 feet of snow is like, yeah, and but
And
they
we
always
had a blizzard in the 60s that was almost as bad as that in Ohio, and we built a snowman that was 20 feet tall.
holy cow.
Hey,
And we
hey,
built a snow mountain that was 25 feet tall. My dad took his grain elevator and got his front loader and just dumped snow in it and built this huge mountain. And it stayed there until the middle of May.
look,
Yeah.
I'll tell you something, man. When I was overseas in Korea, we had a big snow one time, and I was in a security service, and our facility was up on this big hill, with all the antennas, because we did all the spying, I guess is what you call it. So anyway, it snowed really big, and we rolled up a great big old snowball. It must be 10 feet high, and we almost couldn't push it. And we were going to roll it down the hill, down the
That's
road.
what we,
But then we thought this thing could wipe out a car, or we might even get in trouble doing that. So we left that snowball up on top of the hill up there, and it stayed there for months, man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's how we built the 20-foot tall snowman. We
Yeah.
rolled up big balls that were 8 foot in diameter, and my dad used his front loader on his tractor to pick up this huge ball of snow and put it on the other one until it was really huge. And we ended up in the front paper of the newspaper for the world's tallest snowman, at least in Northwest Ohio.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right,
I'm going to
guys.
check out of here. It's 11 o'clock here.
I
and
think we need to go. It's late,
I'm gonna-
and we will see everybody next week. Good
All right.
show tonight. Enjoyed it.
See you guys later.